My name is Somashekar, course faculty for this course. Hello friends, very good morning to one and all. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture 13. Please note, you have studied in the last lecture the followings: different types of flow control valve. Of interest are needle valve, also known as a metering valve, needle valve with check valve. It is also known as choke valve or a flow control valve. Pressure compensated flow control valve. Also we have seen the application of flow control valves in meter in circuit, meter out circuit and a bleed valves. As we know, in some of the applications like a shaping operations, planning operation, shaping operation you will see friends, the forward stroke is a cutting stroke, return stroke is a very fast. In such cases, we are using these meter in circuit and meter out circuit. Whatever you want, forward stroke should be controlled or a return stroke should be controlled. Also we have seen the flow dividers and its applications in multi-cylinder operations, dividing the pump flow into equal halves or based on your requirement. Sometimes 75%, 25% of the pump flow will divide, irrespective of the pressure changes in the branch circuit. In today's lecture, we will discuss mainly on oil leakage flow prediction on concentric and eccentric spool valves. Already we have seen in previous class the empirical relations to determine the oil leakage. In today's class, I will derive the simple equations to find out the leakage flow through the concentric and eccentric spool valves. And also we will discuss in today's class simple numerical calculation on different aspects of direction control valve, pressure control valves and a flow control valves. To today's lecture, I will recap what we have studied as of now. Leakage flow prediction in concentric and eccentric spool valves, then simple numerical calculations on important parameters of control element, concluding remarks of the today's class. Yes friends, you have seen this again and again I am showing during my lecture the course outline. As you know, since from the 4 classes we are discussing the constructional details, operations and application areas of various types of directional control valves, pressure control valves, flow control valves, and in between we are also discussing some numerical, correct? This is the very biggest chapter, also which is a heart of the fluid power system. Now, as we know, these control elements are playing a major role in controlling the direction, the pressure level and the speed of an actuator, correct? As we know, the direction control valves are required to start, stop and change the direction of an actuator by changing the direction of the fluid flow, so that the actuator will move either left or a right in case of the linear actuator. Clockwise rotation or anti-clockwise rotation when you are controlling the motors, either hydraulic motors or air motors, only the medias are different. Also we discussed in the previous class pressure control valves, which are very essential to control the pressure level and hence decides the force output in case of the cylinders and a torque output in case of the motors. meaning the pressure acting over the area will matters. Flow control valves are required to control the flow rate of the fluid and hence decides the velocity of the cylinder, left and right motion, or the speed of the motor. We have discussed in last 3 classes rigorously on the different types of valves. These are some of the valves: direction control valves, pressure control valves, and flow control valves. Also, we have discussed in detail on directional control valves as check valves, shuttle valve, twin pressure relief valve, spool valve, fast response valve, time delay valve, and a pilot operated directional control valves. Also, we have seen the various types of spool lap and flow characteristics. How the flow characteristics for the null cut valve, overlapped and underlapped spool valves. Also, we have discussed the leakage through the gaps between the bore and the spool valves. Forces on spool valves, then what are the valve materials used for the manufacturing the hydraulic as well as pneumatic valves, and also I am given the valve specification. Under the pressure control valves, friends, we have discussed many things. Pressure relief valves to control the system pressure. Here we are setting the maximum pressure in the valve. If you are operating the double acting cylinder alone, the head side will, whatever the pressure is there on the head side, that is the system pressure what we are setting generally. Unloading valves, very essential to unload the system, correct, as we have discussed some of the applications of unloading valves, how, because they will monitor the pressure from the external branch circuits. Pressure reducing valves, very essential to limit the pressure in the different circuits, even though the main power pack is a same. For example, the main power pack, when a system pressure we are setting 150 bar, using pressure reducing valve, we are able to control the one circuit for 50 bar, another circuit for 100 bar, and main one is for 150 bar. Pressure reducing valves are very essential. Always they are open type. Sequence valve, when we are operating the 2 or more cylinders, time based sequence. When we are doing the sequencing the cylinder, for example, one cylinder will move and holds the workpiece, other cylinder will come and heads and complete the operation, either a punching or a bending anything. Then this will go, then other will go, or both will move at a time. Meaning when you are sequencing the multi-cylinders, these sequence valves are used. Also we have seen the counterbalance valve, very essential when the cylinders are mounted in the vertical directions. Also we have seen the brake valve, which are very essential to control the motors, hydraulic motors or pneumatic motors, which are rotating very fast. Counterbalance and brake valves are very essential, which will create the back pressure to load the load very smoothly. Also we have seen the valve specification. In all you will see, friends, valve specification for the direction valve and the valve specification for the pressure control valves. We have discussed in detail how to select the valves for specific application. In flow control valve, we have discussed needle valve or a metering valve. They are throttling like a taps. If you open the tap, more flow will go, then actuator will move very fast. If you will restrict the flow, actuator speed will be controlled. Simply, they will they acts as a faucet in the main flow paths. Flow control valves are a choke valves. Here metering valve integrated with the check valve, meaning this is very essential to control the flow when which direction you want, whether forward direction or a return direction. This will calls for your meter in, meter out and various applications in industries. Pressure compensated flow control valves. To control the orifice size based on the upstream pressure, it will adjust automatically the orifice. Also, we have seen applications how to control the strokes of the piston, what I will call meter in, meter out and bleed circuits. Flow dividers and its applications. See friends, now these are all what I am showing you in this slide, all the recap what we have studied in direction control valves, pressure control valves and a flow control valves. Please brush up all these things. Now quickly we will go to the today's lecture. Mainly, as I have told you, derive an expression to estimate the leakage through the spool and the housing bore for a concentric leakage path. What is the meaning here? You will see here the spool is concentrically mounted in the bore, meaning flow will take place through the gap. Generally, this is treated as a flow through the parallel plates. In hydrostatic element, they will derive the flow through the gap, meaning this is the radial clearance. Now we am deriving this using the very simple figure. You will see friends here. Here the middle one is a spool mounted concentric, meaning axis of the bore and the spool axis are coincides each other. You will see in the side view also. Always there is a clearance because spool is moving inside the bore. It requires a small clearance. If clearance increases, leakage increases. Please understand friends. The clearance is very critical in case of the spool valves. If clearance increases, leakage flow increases. Then if clearance decreases, manufacturing cost increases. Take care for this also. Now I am deriving the flow through this passage. QL is the leakage flow. Correct here, I am using some of the notations. Here notations are D is a diameter of the spool. Correct. C is the radial clearance or a clearance height. Here I am showing you in the units meter and delta P is a P1 minus P2. What is this? Pressure drop over the clearance. And L is a length of the leakage path and U is a velocity, meters per second, and R is you will see here this R is, how to get it this, C by 2 minus Y. Y is the distance between, here I marked here, the Y is the distance between the element side surface and the solid boundary. QL is a leakage flow rate. If you provide all these in this unit, I am getting meter cube per second. FP is you will see here, FP is the pressure force acting on the fluid element. You will see here friends, I have shown you the fluid element here in the bore. You will see here, I am taking this I enlarged here. For the derivation purpose, I am doing here. The FP, the FR, F2 or whatever, F2 is nothing but the shear force or a frictional force acting on the fluid element, what I have considered here. Correct. Now we will see, while deriving the flow through the leakage path, meaning parallel plates, meaning the spool and the bore, parallel plates flow through this. To arrive this, what I am doing friends, assuming the steady state flow and a forces at equilibrium, we can write the following equations as the pressure force Fp is given by 2 pi r d into dp. The shear force F tau is given by 2 pi tau d dx. Also, or as I have told you, 1 by 2 c, meaning 0.5 c minus y. Also, we know that du by dy equal to minus du by dr. So, from the Newton's law of viscosity, shear stress tau is given by tau equal to mu into du by dy. Mu is a viscosity, dynamic viscosity, is equal to what? Minus mu into du by dr. Now, Fp equal to F tau. Here from the above equation, what we will get? Mu into du by dr, this mu into du by dr equal to r into dp by dx. So, the above equation, this can be written as mu into du by dy minus, this is I am written as r into dp by dx. So, the du term, you will get the du term, how it is? Minus r by mu, it will go here, dp by dx, this dr will go this side, correct? This is du by dr, correct? Now, we will see friends, the pressure gradient dp by dx, this dp by dx is a constant and given by dp by dx equal to delta p by L. This delta p is a pressure difference across the leakage gap, P1 minus P2, as I have told you, P1 minus P2. So, the above equation du, what happens? Minus r by mu, as I have told you here, dp by dx equal to delta p by L, meaning you will substitute here delta p by L into dr. So, rearranging the term, so the above equation du equal to minus r into dr, because I am integrating this, that is why minus r into dr 1 by mu delta p by L. These are the constant terms, variable term is only r. Now, what I will do? Now, the velocity distribution in the radial clearance is found by integrating the above equations, meaning if you integrate this, what happens friends? Here minus r square by 2, this is a constant, 1 by mu delta p by L plus c is a constant. To get the c, what I will do? I will apply some boundary conditions, correct? Same thing I am doing here. Now, what I will do? Now, to find out the constant A, by applying the boundary conditions in the above equation as u equal to 0, when it is for r equal to plus r minus c by 2. Apply the here upper limit and lower limit. After substituting, after getting the A, you will substitute here to get the u, meaning velocity distribution as u equal to 1 by 2 mu delta p by L. Here after substituting this and this, I will get c square by 4 minus r square. So, the leakage flow rate is given by QL equal to integrate minus c by 2 to plus c by 2 u into pi d dr. Substitute all the values here friends. After substituting this and applying the boundary condition, I will get the leakage flow through the gap is pi d c cube by 12 mu delta p by L. Please understand, this is very important equations. It is important to note that the leakage flow QL is inversely proportional to the dynamic viscosity mu and directly proportional to the cube of radial clearance C cube. If the radial clearance is doubled due to the wear, what happens to internal leakage? QL increases 8 times, because double 2 to the power of 3, 8 times it will increase. The power loss due to leakage is given by delta n equal to QL into delta p. So, QL we know pi dc cube delta p 12 mu L this is delta P. Delta P into delta P square. After simplifying, this is the power loss. Now, from the leakage flow rate equation, the same equation I am writing here, the differential pressure is given by rearranging the term. Here I want delta P, friends. Delta P is the pressure drop across the leakage path. Delta P equal to what it is? Here 12 mu will go this side, 12 mu L divided by pi d C cube into QL. Here this is 12 mu L pi d C cube is a constant term for the particular combination of spool and the bore. That is why I am taking RL into QL. Here RL is the resistance to leakage and is given by 12 mu L pi d C cube, Newton second per m to the power of 5. If you will substitute all the values taken in the same units. Similarly, as we have seen the leakage flow through the concentric spool ball, because clearance is same, diametrical clearance or whatever radial clearance is same throughout. But in eccentric leakage not like this, because spool is going to sit on the one side of the ball like this. Then what happens here, you will see here spool is here. The axis of the bore and the axis of the spool are offset, eccentricity epsilon, what I have marked here epsilon. And this clearance also you will see, this clearance is not constant. Previously C is constant. Now for the eccentric mounting spool in the housing bore as shown in the figure below, the radial clearance is not at all constant. It is varying. Hence, the flow rate in the case of the eccentric mounted spool is given by, same it is, as you will see friends here, QL equal to pi d C cube delta P by 12 mu L, this term is adding. This is to take care for 1 plus 3 by 2 by C cube, epsilon it is. So, if the inner cylinder just touches the outer cylinder, the flow rate is increased by 2.5 times the value with the concentric cylinders, assuming the same pressure drop.